Tom, just to get down here, Warrnambool, obviously, you guys do come here pretty regularly, but you're clearly beloved, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. We've got a huge fan base down in the southwest of Victoria, so seems that Warrnambool is the heartbeat of the southwest of Victoria. It's nice to get down here. We, as we were talking before, we often once, twice, sometimes 3 times a year at least come down towards the area. So as you can see by the turnout here tonight, as we got a glimpse of it today by going to schools, we do have a lot of wonderful people supporting us. So it's an important part of a football club is to support places that support you. So it is nice to be back down here today.
Tommy, just on that,
Yep.
how important is it to get down to rural communities like this that do support the club so much?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, speaking from my own personal experiences, I still remember as a young kid growing up in southern New South Wales in the Riverina, I still remember vividly the first time that I'd ever had an interaction with AFL players, and one of those players is now the senior coach of Adelaide, but I still remember the impact that it had to me and my friends and the community for not only the time that they were there, but then the excitement and build up to those Swans players arriving, and then once they left. So from that point of view, I've seen over a long period of time now how important it is to be able to come to the community and have touch points along the way, whether it's just a conversation at a school, a kick to kick, in a football program where they both boys and girls may not get the opportunity to do that. And it's really important because it's for me as a player of entering my 17th season, I see that the impact that it can have and has had with many people. So it is really, really important and something that you can see the players and football administrators and staff genuinely like getting down here.
Tom, we asked about the foot and how it's been. Obviously, I haven't seen you doing much at training so far, so how are you progressing? Has there been a setback?
No, progressing really well. I've been hard at it behind the scenes. It's always, and we were always given an indication that it would be a bit slow. So I'm taking the right steps forward, continuing to increase my load. Ran today or this morning in Geelong, and made my way down here post training. So yeah, gradually building it up. So everything is going really well. Getting a lot of confidence and strength with the work we've done. So continue to push forward and look forward to games, which is not too far away.
What's your timeline? Are you expecting to play around now?
Look, I think in my mind I'm aiming to play round 1. Whether or not that happens, I'm not sure. But I think the most important thing that is I want to, and we at the football club want to make sure that we are doing the right things for my longevity. So I'm not going to rush back and play when I'm not ready. So I think realistically, chance to play round 1, but again, like it's really hard to put a timeline because as my load increases, I'll get more of an indication of whether that's a possibility.
What are your more short-term goals in terms of when we sort of aim to pick up the full running and full match training?
I think without speaking out of school, I think probably about 2 or 3 weeks away from joining with a group in a more full-on capacity. Started to move offline. I'll build those loads over the next couple of weeks, and that'll be the natural progression. So a bit of a kick and move with a group at some stage this week, maybe early next week, and then build from there. But in order to keep my mind mentally fresh, I honestly, my approach has been not to look too far ahead, or else I'll do my head in thinking about all the things I need to tick off. So simple mind follows a simple process, and that's 1 week at a time for me.
So is there a blessing in disguise almost that it's all like last year Danger had the calf and he had those few weeks off and he was primed for September?
Yeah.
Are you taking that approach that maybe come the point into the season you might be a little bit fresher?
Well, I've got no alternative but to take a positive approach, and that has been how I've looked at it. I've completed for the last 10 years full pre-seasons with minimal setbacks. So I think the way I've approached it is this: I've got a body of work over a long period of time, so my fitness which is not a strength, but it'll certainly come back having the experience on my side pretty quick. So knowing that the low-level stuff I can take a bit of time to build up, and being the injury that it was structurally, it's quite important that I do that. But it has been certainly a different way to complete pre-season, but one I kind of really enjoyed. Got to know the vulnerabilities that you face in rehab, which I haven't seen for a long time. So that's been kind of nice in a nice way to see. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the pre-season. It's been frustrating at times, but a new approach brings new thinking and new ways about going about things.
Bit of a two-part question here, but what's the feel been at the club with obviously Joel Selwyn leaving and the whole he's left behind, and are you sort of any closer to finding the next captain?
First part, it's been great that Joel's gone. No, look, he's obviously an integral part of what we've been doing and my career for 16 years. So we certainly miss him. He's popped his head in a few times. The Melbourne Storm, who are his current employer, were training down at Catland the other day. So Joel couldn't help but wander through the corridors, and we bumped into him a few times. So I think we'll see him a fair bit throughout the year. But I mean, we have players that come and go that you build great relationships and connections with, and have huge impacts on the club. But gives the opportunity, holistically, for someone else to come in and fill or partake in a role that has been left by someone else. So yeah, we miss him like we do the other players that have moved on and retired. But no closer to finding a captain to lead us into this season and beyond. I'm sure we will follow the process. We haven't really had to follow that for a while, but we'll find our captain soon enough. And the beauty, I think, of our list and position is that even though Joel's been an integral part of leading us, we've always had a lot of people around him to support. So whoever that may be, which could be a number of players, is going to be supported very well by a lot of people.
You almost look around and laugh and go, you've won a premiership and then you've brought in three young blokes, Nolly and Tanner and
Yep.
Jack, and go like, we're in a pretty privileged position and a pretty decent position to go deep.
Yeah, I think the club's always done that. So I mean, I think every year that we're fortunate as players to be able to be to have a list that allows us to compete. And I think we've said that publicly many a time as a player that's entering the back end of my career. I'm grateful for that. And it's brought bringing in new faces and new people brings a different edge to your group, brings excitement, brings a new way of thinking and looking at things. So I've enjoyed to get to know those three in particular, and the other draftees that we've brought in that are going to have a real impact on the way that we push forward as a group too.
Just on your career,
Yeah.
you mentioned that you are coming towards the end. Not
Yeah.
trying to write you off, but it's not very often that you've entered on a one-year deal, Tom. Do you change your approach? Do you soak up things in pre-season, thinking it could be your last year? Do you try and look at things in a different perspective?
No, not really. I think as a part of my journey in football, it's one of the really important parts of playing well is being able to enjoy it. So I think going into each season, I certainly don't have, this could be my last year, but I think the reality of playing professional sport is that when you play a contact sport, any year could be your last year. So I go into season 2023 as a 34, turning 35. I don't plan or envisage retiring after the end of the year, but there's a lot of things to play out. So I'm just looking to enjoy my football, looking to continue to try and find ways to get better and improve. And if I'm doing those things like I have in the last couple of years, I think that it holds me in good stead and allows me to try and perform at a high level.
Jezza mentioned earlier that Indy's got one on the way. Could be due round 1, 2 or 3. Have you got any thoughts on who might be in line to replace Jezza if he misses and you might be watching on as well?
That's a big if. Well, I'll put the pressure on Jeremy. We had our second child on the Wednesday before a Friday night round one, and I still played, but circumstances are different in different families. But who knows? We do have a few babies in the Geelong family, a wider Geelong family. Joel's got and Britt have got theirs expecting at the end of Feb. So who knows? I don't know. Don't know who replaces him. We're sort of a bit light on, and big men down in the forward line at the moment.
Just Ollie Henry's one that's sort of shown a bit over the summer. What have you made of his pre-season so far?
Really enjoyed watching Ollie. Obviously a very different player to his brother Jack, but they're strikingly similar, obviously, because they're brothers, but like just some of their traits and the way they carry themselves and their athletic abilities is something that I've enjoyed watching. So he's a player, if I step back and look at him as an individual without being his teammate, he's a player that can play multiple positions. I'm not exactly sure what's in store for him and where the coaches see him playing, but he's an exciting prospect.
Sorry, Tom, how important are nights like this to get out in the community and sort of get back in touch, I guess, with grassroots footy? It's got a very country sort of football feel about it.
Yeah, it is. It's great. I mean, I mentioned my connection to an AFL club when I was a junior, but I look over here and we're fortunate enough to last year to be successful and win the premiership, and we've got the premiership cup. Walking around getting photos with supporters and people within the community, which is pretty amazing. I mean that fills my heart and makes me a bit warm inside, seeing that element of it too. So it is great. We genuinely care as players in a club. So it's nice to be here. We're going to enjoy our night of training. We enjoyed our day, and we look forward to tomorrow.